Welcome back to Attack on Titan, Anime Review, Episode 42. Yep, second half of this double feature for Attack on Titan. This one discussing the penultimate episode, not only of Season 4, but the entire series, as far as I can tell. Unless, of course, we decide to have more episodes. Some people are probably thinking that there should be more, especially since, there's not many chapters, as of this episode, they basically adapted the entirety of chapter 114, beginning and end. From what I can tell for this one, they only cut like one panel out, but mostly it's pretty accurate. That bit in the manga. In the case of chapter 115, they did most of this chapter. They pretty much started with page 7, and they stopped a little over halfway into it, which is quite interesting to say the least. Yes, most of this episode is simply put a flashback to Zeke's childhood. Yes. Though there is a bit of cross stuff with stuff that's already been explored here. Mostly put is basically Zeke when he was a candidate for the warrior training program. Or apparently he's not doing too well. We see the guy who preceded him as Beast Titan, a guy named Yasuf, I think his name is. He's a researcher which here's the thing. This guy was wearing the same exact glasses that Zeke is wearing present day. At least explains where kind of got it from. So he just happens to randomly meet him at one of his training course days, just playing catch and playing some baseball because the guy loves playing baseball. And throw it back and forth, and you're probably thinking, wait, is this the inspiration for Zeke's special baseball pitching moves that you know for doing? Yes, unintentionally, I think this researcher actually taught him basically how to throw rocks. Throw some of his Beast Titan form. So, after chatting for a while, he finds out, of course, Zeke finds out about, his parents are, Eldian Restorus. Now, we also see basically kind of a very similar scene we saw back in the previous season of the show, where we see Eren Yeager's father, Zeke's father as well, basically going through this very similar, where he's basically reading the same book that his father basically was taught to read through when he was a child. It's a very similar scene, and probably thinking, wait, did the anime just copy and paste the same thing they did for the first season? No, because this is how I presented the manga, so I'm not going to blame the anime for that. But this is mostly told from Zeke's perspective. We do get a chance to see him basically, when he gets his parents arrested. We don't get a chance to see, they actually cut up the little moment before this, where he's bringing the soldiers to his family home to arrest his parents. This, I kind of thought was quite strange, but it basically a result of, this doctor's, his advice that basically he gave Zeke. Because he told Zeke, basically, got transparency in order, and basically he and his grandparents be saved, obviously. Now, this is a bit of expansion about what we saw in the flashback. Bless you! With Zeke's father and his mother, who happen to be a princess, mind you. Yes, from what I can tell anyways, is that they're from a different family. Yeah, they claim they're basically a royal family, but the one who was ruling Paradise Town was actually a figurehead. The guy had no real power. Howard's basically a group of idiot nobles. And I believe that she's from the same family as this guy, I think, but it might be from the real family. So, they do show him flashback. Like, they show that when he gets older, apparently he does become the host of the Beast Titan. Yeah, they actually show it. This actually is, when they show him going through the ceremony to become a Beast Titan, that comes from chapter 115. That's actually not from the end of chapter 114. No, it isn't. And then we have, it's where you have Barnet, yes, Barnet, making his first and possibly only appearance, from what I can tell, is going to be in the anime for season 4. And we see, Reiner. And it explains about Eren Yeager and the fact that, about probably a doctor, proving the fact that, this is apparently how Zeke finds out that Eren is his brother. This, of course, is before they actually officially met later on in season 3 of the show. Excuse me. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, and then they have a bit of a flashback to, from what I could tell, possibly during the stuff in the previous arc of the series, where you have Eren just talking to Zeke for a while, and they mentioned they can't exactly hold hands because Eren's got the final power and he's a royal, and with their power they can manipulate memories. So you just pass along a baseball instead, obviously. And then the episode ends basically with Zeke back in present day discussing his predecessor and him activating the Thunder Spear, effectively kind of in the way blowing him up and, well, Levi. That comes from the end of chapter 114. Yes. Quite interesting though they do this. And, oh yeah, by the way, all the flashback stuff basically seen like in the actual manga itself, that's basically during the present day stuff. My guess is they're probably going to show that next week. Yes, so they're probably going to finish up with a final episode of the series. Probably going to finish chapter 115. Now, it has been a rumor for a while that the final chapter to be adapted for the anime is going to be chapter 119. But the way that this is going, it might be 116 is where they're going to stop at. That's what it looks like to me, which means they got 23 chapters left to adapt at that point. And also, there's been a big rumor going about that there's going to be a movie. That's basically the popular theory going on right now. We might get a couple movies out of this, or we might get some bonus episodes for Season 4. Because I think people want to see like a part 2 for the season, especially the season's been really good so far. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention my last video. When you have Levi fighting Zeke in his beast time form, this is where rap basically going on, like really exciting like fight music with lyrics, which I'm like, that's interesting. As far as I can tell, when it comes to this anime, with the exception of the opening title sequence, whenever they play in the music, it's very orchestral. They play throughout the entire series. That episode 73 was the first time I've ever seen for the series they play a song that actually has lyrics, which I like it. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty fun, entertaining, though also, apparently, for some reason, they decided to put the Beast Titan almost completely CGI. For some reason. The CGI didn't, from my opinion anyways, it looked okay. It wasn't like the way it was with the Colossal Titan a lot of the time. It looked like a bit rushed. The way it looked a bit too shiny, from what I can tell. Though you don't get Titan power in this episode. Not really, no. Yes. But I'm definitely looking forward to watching the final episode of Season 4. And hopefully they have an announcement exactly what's going to happen next. Now, the thing is, with this particular anime review series, like, aside from reviewing the final episode of the series, the 44th episode is going to be, technically for right now anyways, the final, well, probably final episode for now, for the anime review, because that episode will be discussing the final chapter of the manga, which will be discussing, not only that chapter, but my final thoughts on the actual manga series as a whole. Yeah. But in case you're curious, though, there's any like major changes here, like before they adapted. Well, aside from the fact they rearranged some stuff and they put basically a lot of the flashbacks I've seen in chapter 115, they put that in here. They put just before the whole stuff present day, which is quite nice. So my guess is probably next week, probably finish up chapter 115, and they probably go through the entirety of chapter 116, because it seems like they're setting up something really, really big. That's what it looks like to me, is that they're setting up something really big, and we're going to see it next week's episode. And, like, the thing is, next week is also the final episode of Black Clover, so maybe get an announcement for that, and of course, Black Clover itself. Black Clover, hopefully the announcement's quite interesting. Like, maybe the anime is going to come back next year. I don't know. It just depends. Yep. So yeah, that's it for review, and that's it for video today. So, excuse me, as far as I can tell for tomorrow, it's just going to review Black Clover. Unless I get a couple trades, okay? See you next video. Bye.